Assalamu alaikum. Welcome back to the Little Ramadan podcast.
And in today's episode, we're going to be discussing another book which we will delve into after I speak about the fundraiser that we are doing. So we are working at the moment with the Muslims Around the World project, and we are fundraising for aid for Gaza. And that provides aid for those in Gaza, including hot meals, water, and shelter, etc. So if you would like to donate, or if you could share the link with anyone, we would be really grateful, inshallah.
Yep, the link will be down below, and inshallah, our target for this Ramadan is starting at 500.
Yeah, 542, I think.
Yeah. So we've got a small-ish target. I feel like that's small for us at the start, but inshallah by the middle of Ramadan, we're hoping to increase that, inshallah.
We have already hit £150. I think £154,
wow.
And it's been a day. So inshallah, onwards and upwards.
So if you're unfamiliar, we started this podcast series last year, and basically we go through one book per episode and just share some of our reflections from that Ramadan read. So we've got a different selection of books this year, which is very exciting. And this episode, we're starting with Zainab's choice. So go for it.
Okay.
What's the book called?
So the book is called Depression and Anxiety: The Causes and Treatments According to the Quran, by Imam Muhammad Sayyid Ramadan al-Buti, if I said that correctly. If I didn't, I'm sorry. But there we go. So it's going to be delving into, I'm going to delve into two causes of depression and anxiety that are mentioned by Muhammad Sayyid. We will have a look at them together and discuss them in detail, hopefully, inshallah, and hopefully we'll all kind of be able to relate to that. And it will also provide some remedies of if we are facing these kind of experiences of worry, depression, anxiety, unrest. What can we do in instances from a kind of spiritual perspective to connect with our faith? But then also I do want to mention that it does not take away from the fact that you might need medications or therapy for support. And that's perfect as well. That's a really good way to go, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave those people the means to have the knowledge to be able to support us as well. So just wanted to clarify. Okay, so firstly I'd like to talk about the root cause of the disconnection. The attachment to the dunya and the worldly life is where we're going to begin. So I feel like as humans, we've already touched in our previous podcasts about how we can get attached to the dunya, and the ship analogy by Yasmin Mujahid. If you look at our previous podcast, you'll know what we're talking about, and how we need to take control of our ship. And if we don't take control of our ship, essentially we will sink. So I think as humans, inevitably, we will face worldly challenges because we're human, and this is what life is for. It's a test, a trial at the end of the day to get to the final destination. So tell me a little bit about kind of the dunya and the worldly life, and how you feel that can impact us on a deeper level spiritually, and also how can that impact our mental health and well-being, Zaina?
Oh my gosh, that's a very big question. Just like in general?
Yeah, just in general, just like whatever comes to your mind.
I think the first thing that came to my mind when you said impacting our mental health is the amount of distractions in this world. I think shaitan is at every corner, where we sleep, where we eat, what we choose to listen to for music, what we choose to watch on our screens, our friends, our culture, the way we're raised. Everything is kind of tainted with temptation, distraction, anything that will pull you away from Islam. and from your purpose.
Absolutely.
And when that happens, in my head, when you asked me that question, what I was envisioning was just like drowning in the, how do you say it, like the empty chase of chasing happiness or chasing that temporary feeling of just the endorphins, I think. That chemical release that we're always chasing, that we get from, I don't know, listening to our favorite songs or watching our favorite movies, and it just doesn't last, but we do it anyway because it makes us feel good in the moment. But then when that moment passes, we're left with ourselves, and that's when our mental health kind of, could be at stake because of, if we don't focus on our deen the way we should be doing, then it will just leave us feeling empty, and we'll continue to, our soul knows that there's something missing, and then
absolutely you have that yearning where know that you need, there's something missing, and that is the missing part of the puzzle, really. I think that's really lovely and really lovely to see.
Not lovely that we're drowning in our own sorrow, but
no, but that's a really great insightful answer there, Zaina. And I do want to touch on the fact that mental health is something that is taboo still, and it isn't discussed. It's becoming more of a topic now for our generation to be able to actually talk openly about it. But in previous generations, it was a subject that no one spoke about. And just relating back to obviously the importance of it, the talk we went to recently about trauma and childhood trauma and generational trauma, if we don't work on the trauma, we'll just carry that on into future generations. And that's not good for anyone.
Nope.
So, yeah. So, you are right. So, essentially, attaching yourself to the dunya is one of the things that can increase worry and depression and anxiety, because we get so into this worldly life that we forget what our purpose of this life is. And as I mentioned, this life is a trial and a tribulation just to get to the hereafter, which is where our destination is. The author of the book also spoke about when we attach our heart to the temporary, that's when it can become unstable. And we've all experienced that, definitely. And verily, in the remembrance of Allah does our heart find rest. And in a nutshell, that's what we just spoke about. So the heart is really important, the qalb, and looking after it and making sure that hopefully nothing else can enter it other than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But we're imperfectly perfect humans, aren't we?
So it's that emptiness and that kind of instability that causes the anxiety. It manifests as anxiety or depression, and that's one of the root causes.
Yeah, absolutely. And then we'll delve into obviously the two causes I did speak about that I want to delve into, which we will do more. This is just an intro into it.
Okay. I like this point here that you put.
People believe life should be easy.
That is so true. Everyone wants the quick way out. Everyone wants instant gratification, especially in this generation. Everyone just wants everything now.
Absolutely. And then when a calamity hits, or something is taken away from you, and this goes into the first actual cause of depression, when you are faced with adversity or affliction and something is taken away from you that you don't expect, like a loved one, a spouse, a pet, or your wealth, or your home, or your family, or you could be actually experiencing an illness or a disease after being able-bodied. That's a big calamity. And then what happens then? You worry, you become depressed, you think, why me? And then that's where the depression comes in, and it tries to bring you down. And we see that, like it says perfectly, the hardship and as suffering and pain and we don't see the blessing in it at the time. And I think, again, that's human, that you don't see the blessing in having an accident and becoming paralyzed. Maybe that's extreme, but it can happen, and it does happen. But then afterwards, you notice that people are striving even more so than they were before the accident. And that's because you develop a different level of strength, I think, and resilience. And also the handhold becomes stronger because you've gone through something. Does that make sense?
That makes sense.
I feel like I've experienced that myself, being born with a disability and then losing the ability. That was my adversity and affliction. I lost the ability to walk. And I went through that period where I was like, why me? Why am I the one suffering? I went into depression. I felt anxious of being seen out and about until I developed my relationship and my faith with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And slowly that worry disappeared and acceptance came. And that's because I developed my relationship and belief that whatever Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given me in this life, there's some benefit in it. Do you know what I mean? I trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I think it's a wholehearted trust.
Yeah.
And that can be hard to get to.
It's like, so what caused that shift for you was that you continue to work on your relationship with Allah, and that's what kind of caused your mindset to change. And you like, even though at the start, when you first started to work on your relationship with Allah, the answers didn't come straight away, I'm assuming.
No, they didn't.
No, but you didn't let that stop you. You just thought, you know what, I still don't see the point of this suffering, but I'm still going to work on my relationship with Allah because that's the only thing that's going to save me.
Absolutely, because otherwise I don't think, if I always said to like my family, if I didn't have that faith or that belief that what I'm going through, there's a blessing in it, I probably wouldn't be here. I feel like it saves us, faith saves a lot of us from going in a crisis. And I think that's really profound, to be honest.
No, can we quickly mention that?
Yeah, let's do it.
Anxiety comes from illusion of control. This whole concept of us feeling like everything is out of your control. And
or
that's
going wrong or not going your way. Yeah. We've spoke about this before as well, how we want something and then it doesn't happen the way we want because we plan an outcome, but the best planner is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and everything that is decreed for us is already decreed. We can't see it, but He knows us best.
Yeah, so it's kind of going deeper into that. We did mention that before, I remember, but it's going deeper into that and actually asking ourselves, like, where does that come from? Like, why do we have this anxiety about trusting Allah's plan? And it's because we have this illusion of control.
Absolutely. So we've spoken a little bit about the fear of affliction and adversity and how it all kind of weans into each other. So not having control of what's going on. You don't have control of whether you're going to get an illness. You don't have control of whether you're going to lose a loved one or a family member. You just have to ride the waves and kind of deal with it and trust. But again, that's where it comes in. The trust is hard to get to, I think. And this can be obviously a cause of depression and anxiety and also psychological unrest as well. I think some people, they see hardship as a punishment or something that they view it in such a negative light. But I guess that's what dependent on where you're at with your faith as well. What do you think?
I think with this cause in particular, I feel like it is going to ruffle a few feathers. I sound so old saying that.
What was that?
Ruffle a few feathers. But you know what I mean? It's going to cause a little bit of like discomfort in people because it's like we're saying basically that this is a comment on someone's faith. Because if they don't have that kind of full trust in Allah's plan, then they question everything that's happening to them, and that's where the anxiety and depression comes from. But
absolutely,
I think we need to clarify that that's not fully what we're saying. We don't know what is in other people's hearts. Maybe
Exactly.
they do have faith, or maybe they struggle with their faith. This isn't a question about iman per se. I think it's more to do with mindset. We're just speaking about one aspect,
Yeah.
really. So if you're like watching this and thinking, well, there's a lot more to it, there is definitely, but this is definitely something to consider.
Mhm.
I thought I'd just clarify.
Yeah, good. When I was younger, I'll just reflect, I wanted to walk. I didn't want to be in a wheelchair because I thought, like, I'm going to be worthless. No one's going to love me or care for me. I'm not going to be able to do this or that. And in the fear of adversity and affliction, one of the things the co-author actually recommended is not to say, if only that didn't happen to me, then this would have been okay. So don't use the word, if only this hardship didn't come my way, if only this loss didn't come my way, then this wouldn't have happened to me, because whatever was meant to happen is supposed to happen. You can't change that. And there's a blessing in it as well. It's just hard to see at the time. So there's a quote from Surah Al-Baqarah. It says, and it may be that you hate something which is good for you, and that you love something which is bad for you. Allah knows, but you do not know. Re-emphasizing what we've already spoken about, and it's recognizing Allah's wisdom in everything, and the temporary nature of the worldly hardships we're going through, or we do go through on a daily basis. Sometimes these are hidden, and you keep them within yourself and within your heart, and sometimes you can see them, like my wheelchair. Which you can't hide, unfortunately. I'm joking, it's not unfortunate. I love my chair.
I just wanted to say on that part is, it's like, obviously people know these things. It's like, it's not a matter of not knowing that Allah's plan is the greatest, and that, everything that happens to you happens for a reason. It's about believing in it, and it's like it is easy for us to sit here and just be like, oh yeah, you just have to believe in it.
Oh, it's so difficult. That is so difficult.
I think we need to point out it is a journey. Like,
yeah,
you just like, when you were talking about your journey, you didn't just wake up and then
be like, oh my days, I love being in a wheelchair. No, that is not what happened.
So I think the point is, it's not just talking about this mind change. It's not just talking about this mindset change, but it's about accepting that it is going to take more than one day. It's going to take a lot of effort. It's going to take a lot of time. It's going to take a lot of working on yourself, working on your deen, working on your relationship with Allah. And that's not something that is going to be, you're not going to see the fruits of it straight away. And that's fine, because it just reminded me of like a little, me and my little analogies.
I love your analogies.
Okay, say for example, you have a new friend, right? And, it's a new friendship, so, you're still getting to know each other. You're not going to trust that person straight away with everything, right? You're going to take some time to learn more about them, and then slowly with time you start to open up, if that makes sense. And that's when the friendship deepens, right?
Yes.
Like when we first met, we were not like, oh my gosh, here is all of my emotional baggage, and like, let's talk about everything, and like depression and like Islam and whatever, and everything that's going on with us. Like, we didn't do that. We just,
we were just surface level happy. Hi, life is great.
Yeah. And then over time, that's when things start to deepen. So my point is, you have to give yourself time to get to know Allah and get to know your religion. Spend time with the Quran, spend time with your deen, and doing things that increase your spirituality, whether that's more dhikr, more reading Quran, or spending time in Islamic circles, or environments in general. Anything that clicks with you, spend time with it. Give it your energy, and then that's when things will start to change.
You basically, in a nutshell, spoke about what the remedies are.
I'm sorry.
In a nutshell, which is great because we don't have much time anyway. So the other thing is, that's so sad to say, isn't it? But it's so true.
It's true though.
That this life of this world is nothing but enjoyment or delusion. In this life, we're all going to go through good days, bad days. We won't always have happiness all the time. That's not possible. If life makes you weep one day, it will make you laugh tomorrow. You can't expect to be happy all the time because the good is always going to be mixed with the bad. So you have to remember the rewards. There are rewards for those who have suffer and patience as well for the death.
Okay, guys. Minor change of scenery. We got kicked out of the last place, so we have since moved.
We have.
And we're going to continue on here like nothing's happened.
Yeah, so let's go. Okay, so back to where we were about the remedies.
Yeah.
Of the first cause of depression, which is affliction and being faced with adversity. So we spoke about how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the decree, has already written what's going to happen and decreed and ordained it for us. We spoke about how this life is nothing but enjoyment of a delusion, and we spoke about how there's a mix of bad and good emotions, and nothing will always be happiness. You'll always get these kind of other side of the coin with it in this worldly life as well. So I have a little kind of analogy from the book. I'm just going to read it out to everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Imagine two people living under the same roof and experiencing the same calamity. One is a believer and the other is not. The affliction is the same. The affliction will pulverize the one who is removed from Allah, and as a result, the aforementioned illnesses will strike him. The other will sleep peacefully and say, "My Lord, you have decreed, and I am content. This worldly life is just a road. I know you will compensate me with something good." And in a nutshell, that just basically highlights everything we've just been discussing.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, you can literally grow up in the same household as someone, have the exact same kind of upbringing, experiences, and everything, and one person can be completely on the practicing content with their life, and the other one won't be. And it's simply because of their internal state.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
But internal states can change, and
they can, and we can make dua.
Yeah.
I like this part of the book where he said, how many accidents look like afflictions but are actually blessings? How deep is that? That's so profound. Profound is the word. This episode, I think. Yeah, I'm not going to elaborate on that because we already spoke about it previously, but you can just write your comments down below if you have anything to say. Okay, so do we want to speak about the fear of death?
Yeah.
As one. I've got it written down anyway. It's only quite short. So another fear, or another thing that can raise anxiety and depression, based on what the author said in the book, was the fear of death. And that can be due to the fact that we're so obviously in this worldly life that we forget about what's next, or also about the fear of not knowing what's going to come. Do you know anyone who is fearful of death?
I used to. I think back in school, some of my school friends, for sure.
Yeah, I used to know someone also who was fearful of death, and I think it comes from that kind of the unknown as well. If you don't, we obviously know what's going to happen, but it's still like, oh, death has got this negative connotation around it generally anyway, hasn't it? Okay. According to the author, he says that the fear of death often stems from two issues: the excessive attachment to this life and also weak certainty of what comes after death. So basically what I just said. When a person sees this life as the ultimate, sorry, my tummy's going, as the ultimate reality, death becomes a terrifying loss, but the Quran reframes death as a transition, not an annihilation.
Annihilation.
I don't know how you say it. But the Quran reframes death not as an annihilation, but as a transition. Thank you. It's a movement from one stage of existence to another. And like we said, the hereafter is actually our final kind of destination. The remedy for this, based on the author, is to understand that death does not mean non-existence. And even though we do die, another thing he does speak about is how the soul is still alive and the spirit is still alive. Although the body has stopped moving, the spirit is able to be free.
Mm.
That's why I said in the book. Have you heard that before? Yeah, because I was
Like
quite...
the Berzak.
Yeah, the Berzak, but like he didn't mention the Berzak straight away. He just spoke about how the soul can be free traveling.
Oh.
Yeah, which is new, but like as if it can travel anywhere. But no, it goes to the Berzak, and that's where you have paradise and you have happiness and you have all the things that you've desired, I guess, and everything's beautiful, and I don't even know how to explain it, to be honest. Out of this world, we probably can't imagine it.
Yeah. The afterlife is so like incomprehensible to us. Like, not just heaven, but also hell.
Yeah.
Like we think, and just think about how much evil there is in this world, particularly now with everything that's coming out with certain files and
God,
other kind of horrors that have been going on, calamities, and the extent of that level of evil, but that doesn't even come close to what is in hell.
Yeah, exactly.
And like in the same breath, what we have now, what's so beautiful about our world, doesn't even come close to Jannah.
Absolutely. And then another thing that just comes to my mind as you're speaking about that on the flip side is you could do one deed in this world that will outweigh all of the other deeds that you have, and then therefore you could be Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would grant you Jannah. Does that make sense? Like I think there was a story where just by feeding a cat you can get reward and just go to Jannah from just looking after pets. But it's all about your character, really, I think, and character development is something we all focus on in Ramadan, isn't it?
Yeah, that's actually relating to one of the books that I've chosen, which we will touch on probably next episode.
Exciting.
The importance of character.
Exciting. Another part of the remedy that he mentioned is that death is nearing to the closeness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as well. So yeah, in a nutshell, they were the remedies he had, which I think were quite great.
I don't think we even showed this at the beginning. This is the book. Depression and anxiety, the causes and treatment according to the Quran. It's based on a television series?
I've never watched it. Have you?
Yeah. I haven't, no. But
look into that.
Yeah, I think we only went through 2 of the 5 causes.
Yes.
So definitely, if you haven't already, add this to your list, because I think it's really insightful.
And at the back of the book, actually, I really loved it because the visual he put here, of the remedies based on the different fears or things that can make you depressed or anxious. And I felt it was really nice and readable and easy to understand. Okay, so I think some takeaways are to strengthen, obviously, our knowledge about the hereafter, which can really help. And also remembering death as a regular reminder as well, that, there's a quote that comes to my head actually, you died the way that you lived. Have you heard of that one before? Literally, the way that you live is the way that you die. And that's a quote that stays with me. So there was a girl, a video I was watching, and she literally died listening to music because that's all she enjoyed doing in this life. And there's obviously videos of people who die literally during prayer or reading namaz.
Mm.
Imagine how beautiful that death would be. Because is it true that on the day of judgment or resurrection, you basically come back as where you died?
I'm not sure actually.
I feel like I've heard that somewhere, but I don't know how true that is. So
definitely need to take away from this that I do need to do a bit more research.
Me too. Okay. And balancing love of the dunya, so engaging in the dunya responsibly as you can, but not allowing it to dominate the heart. And yeah, that's it in a nutshell. So I think Zaina earlier kind of, without realizing it, spoke a lot about the Quranic treatment plan. And I'll just touch on a little bit of that before we end the episode with a nice dua. So dhikr and remembrance of Allah is top on the list of what the author said, and what we all know is really important, remembrance of Allah, not just through reading his, obviously, the names on tasbih or whatever, but it can be at every or any point in the day. Remembering Allah is really important.
Just to add to that, as part of dhikr, istighfar as well.
Yes.
I've tried to start doing that in my life now.
Oh, great.
Just like when I'm in the car or when I'm walking to uni and all of that, just, muttering under my breath, astaghfirullah. And it's actually, it's you don't realize how much spare time you have in the day.
Absolutely.
Where you could be just getting easy dhikr in. So it's really not that hard.
And you can get the speed counter as well. Yeah. That you can put in your finger. They're really cool. Of course, salah and remembrance of Allah through prayer. But we all know that's a fluctuating roller coaster journey for everyone. And we're all on different journeys, but the intention is the most important thing, I feel, as well. I think that's really it, to be honest. And then just relating it to Ramadan to end it as well, I will be reading off my phone if that's okay for the last part. Ramadan is essentially a month-long cure for anxiety. So here are a few different points that relate to Ramadan. So reducing dunya's attachment by fasting, which weakens physical desire and retrains the heart. Increased dhikr and Quran, which we just spoke about, which daily exposure to the Quran recalibrates the heart as well, and the qalb. The tawakkul training, so we fast all day and we trust that Allah will provide for us at the end of the day. Alhamdulillah. And then night prayer, so Tarawih creates emotional regulation and allows us to have deep reflection and spiritual grounding. And also community in Ramadan is really important as well, because it can be really isolating if you don't have people around you. But Ramadan is a time of togetherness, where we all come together and share food and have iftar together, do dhikr together. To close, I just want to say, perhaps depression and anxiety intensify when we spend the 11 months without it attached to the temporary. How deep is that? Because our focus changes in Ramadan. And hopefully, we strive for it to change over the other months as well. But inevitably, we're human, and life and everything, you know what I mean? Yeah. Okay. So we're just going to end with a dua, if that's okay. I do have that point there that I want to say.
We can make that as the end, the final thoughts.
Yeah.
So the final.
Go ahead. Go for it. Yeah, I'd love you to say it.
Love to take credit. Our final thought to leave you with is, so maybe the question this Ramadan isn't just how many juz will I complete, but rather, has my heart reattached itself to the one who controls all outcomes?
Dun, dun, dun.
Ramadan isn't just about how much Quran you can read, which is definitely important. Obviously, that is part of one of the remedies, isn't it? Yeah. It's reading Quran and getting yourself closer to Allah, but it's also that self-reflection
So important.
and allowing that spiritual reset. So when you're feeling hungry and thirsty, let your soul be fed.
So
cringe, but it's true, guys. Even though it's like so cringe, it's true.
And with that being said, let's move on to letting harmony out. Oh no, but that means you have to get it. Harmony, shush. And with that being said, let's end with a dua. Oh Allah, you know the weight we carry in our hearts, the fears we don't speak about, the sadness we hide behind our smiles. If our anxiety comes from forgetting you, bring us back to you gently. If we are trying to control what belongs to you, teach us to let go. Replace our fear with trust. Replace our restlessness with remembrance. And replace our sadness with certainty in your mercy. Make this Ramadan a healing for our hearts. Attach us to you and not to what fades. Ameen.
Ameen. Oh, that's beautiful. Did you write that?
No.
No.
I didn't. I wish I did. Harmony,
Perfect timing.
Meow.
I want to hear your insights into this. What do you think about
What do
Ramadan?
you think, Harmony?
She was just waiting for us
She
to
needs to
finish being
purr.
like, okay, you done. Give me attention now. That's it, guys. Make sure to donate, inshallah. We are fundraising for Muslims Around the World project, and our first target is 500 something, but we're going to be increasing it because we know that we can reach that goal pretty quick, inshallah. Thank you so much for everyone who's already donated. Amazing.
Absolutely.
We haven't even got the first episode out.
The first day, and we've already raised £154.
That's amazing.
Alhamdulillah.
Jazakallah.
May
Thank you
Allah
so much.
reward you all.
Ameen. And yeah, stay tuned for next week and the following weeks this Ramadan, inshallah. We'll see you in the next episode.
Allah Hafiz.
I don't know why I always do that.
Peace.